Colorizing old family photos has been really fun over on MyHeritage, but as all genealogists, I have more questions than I have answers, and in this video, I'm going to talk about skin color and colors of clothing. Welcome to Family History Fanatics, where we help you understand your DNA, climb your family tree, and write your ancestor stories along the way. So the MyHeritage tool has been really fun, and if you missed our previous videos about the MyHeritage tools, not only how to colorize your old family photos, but just some of the questions I had about how accurate the photos might be when they are colorized, go ahead and look in the description for a link. If you haven't seen our previous videos, we are taking colorized images, turning them into black and white and sepia, and then uploading them to MyHeritage, colorizing those images to see what happens. Notice that the colorizing filter has a little bit of problems. In the previous video, we talked about how blonde hair tends to come back very honey blonde, a gold wash on it. But notice how with this pale skin tone, it's almost like we just put a sepia filter on it. So I often wonder if your ancestor was pale like this woman on the left, would it be able for this colorizing tool to make it look more true to life? If you have any examples of how that colorizing tool impacted your ancestors, and then go ahead and drop a link in the description. I would love to see what happens. So I've talked a lot about Caucasian skin tones and hair color in my previous videos. So I thought, well, let me take a peek at different skin colors. You can see how the original is on the left, and notice on the right, the foliage. I've mentioned this in a previous video before, that the green plants really become bright and vivid. But notice that she kind of gets like a lighter skin tone, and her dark black hair becomes more of a chocolatey. I don't know what else to color it. It just looks really rich, nice brown rather than that darker brown that she has in the original image. So in this side-by-side comparison, we have a African man, and he's wearing a blue jacket, and he's standing in front of a country scene. Notice it's a gray road with green grass. But when we colorize the black and white version, everything's green in his background, and we know there's no green roads. Notice his jacket didn't come back to that vibrant blue, and he had a little bit of an ashen skin color in the original, and now he has a more rich, vibrant black skin color as well. So it's really nice to put this filter on people who are older, because you just look more vibrant and full of life. Now, in this side-by-side comparison, you can see that the blues aren't true to life from the original to this sepia tone. A pale skin, the dark hair, it misses. And those flowers look dead. Poor woman. I bet she would be pouting if she had colors that look kind of dead. So it's entirely possible after you use the filter on MyHeritage, you might actually go into a photo editing software program and take someone who has Asian color skin and try to take that yellow color cast out. So now I'm going to ask you to just focus on clothing colored. In previous videos, we've already talked about the fact that red doesn't transfer well from the original to the colorized version. So sometimes your ancestor probably had a bright red dress like this woman is wearing, but then in the colorized version, it just has a little bit of a color wash in there, and it's really gray. But notice also the jewelry that's right above my head. When you see the sepia, colorized sepia version of it, it now looks like she has blonde jewelry. So when you start to see that all of your ancestors have bronze jewelry or silver jewelry, you just have to ask yourself, well, was it really gold or was it another color? One of the things that is pretty striking is that sometimes the colorization totally takes out color. So if you will look at the chest area of the sepia version, you're going to see that there's a big gray spot right over her chest. And then No, her dress is supposed to be pink and it's now very, very gray. But notice also the dramatic change in her skin tone and her hair color change. So I just wonder if those of you who have darker skins, what are you seeing when your ancestors are colorized? This is a very ornate dress, and it is peach and gold and red in the original, but it becomes very silver. Now it does keep some of the flowers that are peach, so that's kind of interesting. But right around the woman's head, right up here, she actually loses color. It stays gray, so it doesn't come back. Notice how this woman, she goes from having the paler skin that is typical of older individuals, and she has a nice youthful glow until her next, and then she goes gray. It's hard to see on the screen, depending on the color settings you have, but her black coat in the original actually is now purpley in the sepia colorized photo, and the man's maroon tie now becomes dark gray. So it's interesting, the things that change color, things that were black may not stay black, and things that were not black become a dark charcoal or a gray. But bright colors just don't seem to get colorized appropriately. I think maybe when we're looking at these colorized versions, we have to really enjoy the tool for what it was. It's just trying to breathe life into the images of the past, pull us in, but recognize their world probably was even more bright than we thought in the past. And maybe there were lots of yellows and blues, but now we just see a version where it's just, even the white looks a little bit muted in the after effect. So I hope you had fun learning about some of my experiments about hair color and skin color and clothing and just my family photos to begin with. And then when you take a look at your ancestors' photos and appreciate how cool they do look with the colorizing filter on it, but maybe, just maybe, you have more questions now than you have answers. Were they really all in gray? So feel free to share with me some of the questions that you have, or just some of the really links to some of the colorization that you have done, so we can all have fun colorizing our ancestors. If you would like to see the full playlist of the MyHeritage in Color experiment, check out this playlist here, and to see our latest video, check out this one here.